What up, everybody? Lonnie here with Charts and Labs. How's everybody doing? It's Saturday the 3rd. What a great start to the year so far. Hopefully, everybody is feeling excited about the year coming. Um, for the Zodiac people, what are we? The year of the horse. Horse brings the carriage, and the carriage carries the wealth. So, let's jump into what we got going on and get a little update of how we closed out the year with the little challenge that we had going. Before we get too deep into this, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, any guru with any kind of certificate that can tell you what to do with your money. I can just show you what I'm doing with mine. And if you want to follow along, great. If you want to at least see what ideas I have and what I got going on, and it helps you get a little bit of familiarity to make decisions on your own with your money, I love that. So, as a little recap of what we got going on, is I started a little small account with it was about $330. I believe I added a little bit more, so call it 400 or so, because I believe I'm up 90. So not up huge. We did have to add a little bit because we had a bad run at one point. We almost lost the account, but we saved it. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build this account up to $1,000. Take out the profit. I'm going to add it to my crypto portfolio. And then once I have that, now I'm back to a $500 account. I will probably build it up to, 1,200 or 15. I haven't quite decided exactly where I'm going, but I'm going to try to build it up, take my profit, build up my crypto account because in my opinion, I think that we're going to see quite a strong crypto year. One of the projects that I'm in specifically is TXC. Normally in the past, I've always kind of just traded crypto, never stayed in them very long, besides maybe a couple days at a time. Captured my profit and moved on. But I've followed them and I've watched them. I have a little bit of knowledge about the usages, the utilities, and the projects. But I typically stayed within the top 20, top 25 or so. I peeked at some of the meme pump and dumps, but I never put much into them. And then my dad actually found TXC through knowing some people that were early in the project, and kind of got us in as early adopters. We were in the top, in the first 1,000 people to take on that project. And so I've been hearing from him a lot as far as the details of everything going on. And then I kind of got in more recently. End of October, I started paying a little bit closer attention on my own, beyond whatever he told me. November, I started getting a little bit more active in the markets and actually trading TXC. Prior to when I got on, it was on DexTrade or Bitmart only, so it wasn't very available for a U.S. Crypto exchange to trade it, and that was kind of another one of my rules that I didn't want to dive too much into it, but I was following it, and the project got some strength and some legs and was really going. So here we are. We're looking at building some day trading profits, and then build a crypto portfolio. I have enough confidence in crypto now that I think I will probably be building enough of a position in TXC and some others to hold on long term with. And so my favorite stock right now is Intel. And the reason I like Intel is if we zoom out of this and let's go on a weekly basis. And if you look back in 2024, they were up in the $50 range. And they had a huge pullback down into 30, and then this massive drop off. And what happened was their previous CEO had a vision and a path that he wanted to get into the foundry and building out and the need of an American foundry. Foundries are what are making these chips and is kind of putting them together. The chips and GPUs and stuff that these guys are using for AI. And they went that route, why NVIDIA and AMD were maintaining their positions as chip designers and not manufacturers, because Taiwan Semiconductor really had a stronghold on the foundry position. It was Taiwan Semiconductor and Samsung were really the only two. Intel jumped in and tried to do it, and it took a lot of money to build out these foundries, and they weren't getting much gain because they weren't. It was hard to take in because of how AI ran so quickly. It was hard for Intel to get in and get a stronghold of the market because Taiwan had the best, and everybody was just using Taiwan Semi. Well, now we are in a position where Intel has a new CEO who's cut some of the overspending and is really focused on getting the ship righted, and is now in a position where this foundry um, is needed. Elon was quoted, I want to say it was in November, how the AI chip demand is going to be far greater than what any single foundry can keep up with. And that's why they're reaching out and using Samsung, who is kind of second best in yields next to Taiwan Semi. Intel's in third, but they are getting better and stronger. What Intel kind of did and jumped ahead of everybody, instead of trying to catch up, they tried to jump ahead with a more advanced chip. But while everybody else was focusing on kind of the 2 nanometer um, technology and perfecting that, Intel jumped into 1.8 and 1.4, getting smaller, more efficient, better energy consumption for what they can be used, and kind of jumped ahead of everybody and has positioned itself very well to what could be a great demand surge for them. I'm thinking honestly this year, but in the years to come at least. So I started following them around December of 2024. This drop. When they hit this drop is when I really started diving in and positioning, and I played some of these swings and made a little bit of money, lost a little bit of money, kind of thing. But I was playing and positioning in this and really following the story. And then it was March that they got the new, March is when the new CEO came in, and it's kind of been building and progressing. And we can see that these weeks were some strong uh, buys came in, and this is when the Nvidia deal first hit. So Nvidia came in and the U.S. did it first, and then Nvidia did it also, where they actually took a stake in Intel's shares and caused this huge run up. Since that run up, we've kind of been building in some of this support here, um, and pulling back because one, that Nvidia investment had to pass the FTC to make sure that they weren't going to have any kind of monopoly or cornering the market thing. So they had to check that and verify. Checks out, it's clear, money's good, Nvidia's in, and they can progress now going forward. Next week, starting Monday, is the CES event in Vegas. Nvidia is the keynote speaker, and Intel is one of the main presenters later in the week. And they will be presenting their Panther Lake chips, their Fab 52, and probably get a lot of excitement going on. So I'm very, very excited for what is to come. And that leads me into what play I jumped in, and what I kind of made is the saving grace for my account that I started making some bad plays, and this was why I cut myself out of making those day trades and into some longer term plays, because I had done really well. I made my plays, 3 straight plays, very good. And then I lost a little bit on some shares, but I made pretty much a break-even trade right here. And out of frustration, I got a little aggressive and I made a bad trade. And this bad trade here almost torched my account. I lost all my profits and got aggressive again and took a big fat nosedive. But then I went up to where I was back into profit almost, minus my reinvestment or my readdition kind of thing. But I was almost broke even, and I probably should have got out there, but I stayed and tried to hold and almost lost again. But I added, here is where I added, and then we got an instant run up and a kind of a saving play. And what I did was in QQQ, I was doing 0-day trades. So let's go QQQ. I'm gonna have to go back. I don't remember what day that was. That was on the 31st. I think I did on this day. At this day. December 29th. So let's look at QQQ on December 29th. I'm going to come here into the 15 minutes so we can see a little bit closer. On December 29th, you can see all my lines that I was drawing and trying to figure out. Let's delete all these so we could just see what was going on. So December 29th, right here, Monday. This is where I came in and got a little aggressive. And this chop is what messed me up. I was trying to play this. I was getting this run up where I was almost good. And then this is what really torched me. But I did catch this run up at the very end. And I got out here right before the fade. And this was my saving play. And what I realized was that I was letting emotions and a lack of discipline take over some of my trades. I was getting a little bit too, I was getting a little too risky, trying to take that heavier play, and what I call it is like revenge trading, because I'm trying to make up for this dip where I almost blew my account, and then I was gonna try to get back because I was trying to press to get to that $1,000 profit that was my goal. Or my $1,000 account, which was my goal, so that I can continue on with the challenge. So I started pressing, and in 0-day plays, being that risky and not being strategic, taking the better setup of 10 to 15% is what you're supposed to do on 0-day trades. And I was seeing the right setup. I was even looking at one day out or 2-day out trades, and then I was trying so hard to capture a perfect 0-day trade and make some phenomenal profit. That was not wise. That's why I never posted those videos, because they were not good examples other than of what not to do. But I was going to try to edit them. They were very long, and there was just no good material for me to share. I did do a recap video kind of explaining it afterwards, and I think those are better videos that I did share. But what I did to fix myself is I jumped into this Intel position, which dipped right here when I took it, and then opened up very big on Friday, where we ran up huge. At 9 a.m. I was up $237, $273. I'm sorry, dyslexia. And I could have closed, rebought in here, and made it again because I was back up to $273, and then we came back. So what happened with Intel is that it got really exciting. So if we look at this run up, we ran from where I was at. I got in at this 13 cents is where I bought. We ran up to 29. Should have taken 100% profit. I could have bought back in here. I don't want to overtrade. I don't want to be too aggressive. We're just letting it play. And then Friday we had our big news, big run up all the way up to 43, almost 150 plus 186%, almost a 200% gain. And then we came back down and we ran back up a little bit, kind of a decent close. I'm okay with it. I have my goal. I have all week. I'm playing it for this CES event. I think it's going to be a big one, and that's what I'm playing for. If we go into this guy, I'm going to remove my drawings on this one also, so we can see better. I could always redraw them. Let's do 1 hour. We see a nice strong reversal and really ramped up and picked up. So just to kind of jump into some of this recap of what happened, of what I just basically told you with Intel, recap and summarize Intel's news and chart from this past week. Price action, we finished on that 6% day on Friday, the first day of the new year. People are repositioning for this year. I think the story is going to change for Intel. The American foundry is needed, and I think their production is better. And that NVIDIA investment is going to be huge, because I think this partnership and working together, design, this is going to lead to really big news for both parties, actually, I believe. But this Panther Lake, mobile AI oriented, this is going to be early 2026. Hopefully going to see a big presentation on this and a customer along with it, which would be huge for Intel. I'm not trying to think that I'm going to make $10,000 on that play, but I think it's going to get me to my $1,000 goal. But But just to recap, they had an 84% year. Quite the change from that 2024, the low of 17 running up. There's still some bearish outcasts out there, or sentiment from still some bearish sentiment from analysts out there who are talking about how they were ran so poorly for so long. They still have a long way to go, but sentiment is really picking up in a positive manner. Looking for an upside breakout is really cool. Hopefully on Monday that can continue. We had the higher high, higher low structure into the 39 area. Now we could break over 40. I love to see 43 is the level that I'm looking to see. And price action summary, range break. And then the CES event is next week starting Monday as the kind of the keynote and the introductory. I think Intel comes in on Wednesday or Thursday, and that's when they present. So, like I said, my goal on this is right now I'm up 73%. I'm up by 224 bucks. Total return 287. I'd like to see that 43. Let's just do 75, just as a number. 43.75 on the 5th as $1.35 for that contract. I would love to get $1.40 would be a great sell on that. Would be a $2,000 profit on that trade. Is kind of my goal on Monday. It could happen though on what is that, Wednesday? If we got to that level, that 43.75 level, looking at $1.15, which is, I believe my average is 15, and that would be $100 per contract over my average of 15. So those are kind of my two target zones that I'm looking at for this play. Again, I have all the way till the 16th, but I don't want to hold that last week. I want to be out next week during the event while everybody's excited. If it doesn't get up to $1.40 or $1.45 or $2, I mean, honestly, I'd love for it to get up as high as possible, but being realistic, I think 43 is the level that we're looking for. So let's jump back over into Intel real quick and look at the levels and where is 43. I think this is 40. No, that's 40. We need to get up here. 43.86 is that resistance zone. So we just got to get through this muck right here. A little break above the 40.23, 40.12. I think we could open above that, and I think that's where we're going to follow this trend up, and hopefully that's where the break is. And it could be exciting. So with momentum would be very nice, and then we're going to look at that play, and hopefully we can hit a banger. And then we're going to jump in and go get some let's jump on this one, and we're going to go to CoinMarketCap, get some Texacoin, who also is looking at trying to reverse from a little bit of a downtrend. Had some great momentum over Christmas, came back down, starting to get a little bit of momentum. Hopefully can get above this level, horizontal line right there. Looking for 152 kind of area. Since it did a double bounce on this at the same level, could even say 140. Yeah, 140 level is probably a good one because we have the hard drop right here. So 140 to reclaim support. If we can get our Intel play to hit and get us some decent profit, we can come over and buy Texacoin. Under 140 is the goal. If price runs up without us, we'll be there. We will see what we got, but that is kind of the goal. Is between under 140, because then this zone will be probably some consolidation as we try to reclaim this also, which you could look at that wick up, and then give me that. Let me move you. Stop it. That wick right here. We see large wick down, large wick up, and it's kind of range bound in there. So 143 and 184 could be a range for a little bit, looking for that price short term, and then break above that. Obviously we're going to look for wicks on the inside under this zone. We have a nice tall wick right there and a lot of consolidation right here. So then we have a 230 to 267 zone that we'll see for a while. And then we have greener pastures up here. We're gonna make this one that cayenne blue. 355. Some ranges to look for as the price moves up. Looking at volume real quick. Still this 0.3% is so tiny of volume. Pinex is at 25,000 less 24 or 66. Volume has been decreasing. Let's go to indicators and do some volume so we can see it. We have to go do that one. Let's move the MACD off so we can see that volume is very low right now. So I'm going to take this up and squish compress that price because I want to see the volume as a primary real fast before we go crazy. So let's go and see what was the volume like on this day, October. Let's go 1010 and just kind of see what that volume is. It's this right here, right? Yep, about right there. We're gonna make this line be a different color, white, so we can see it. So this baseline, October 10th, I just picked something, basically 3 months ago that we're working into going into next week to see kind of the average. And if you look, I also kind of lined up with that kind of average. I think I missed it actually. Where do we go? Oh yeah, right here. 1010 is this one. So we can see that our average is right around 328, almost 329. Call it 330. That's just for a sake of a round number. 330 has kind of been our average volume. Can we get a number? Oh, that's just where it's going to be. About $330,000 a day is the average. And if we look at the last 2 days, 273, 219. When's the last time we got to 325? Was on December 31st. New Year's Eve was a good run up. That was a green day. And then right before it took us, December 26th, 321. Here's our last one that we were over it. December 25th. On Christmas Day, we were over that average, and that was last big day. These big, massive spikes of the 1.1 million, 1.15 million, 1.2 and 1.12. Those were liquidity injections, nudges to kind of see if this price could hold, and as we can see, it did not hold. So we are looking for the actual market to establish a level. And where do buyers get excited at right now? Our buyers are in the 115 to 130 range is where the buyers are. If we look at previous, buyers will ultimately want to move up as people get excited. Layer 2 is coming. Soon it looks like there was some releases of the API and the block book, which was exciting to see, and talks that there's a lot of interest in this layer 2. So layer 2 is going to bring the utility, and that utility is going to bring value. That value is going to bring excitement, and then we can get back to this kind of move up. So that is my goal of what I'm doing. I'm using Intel options to trade. I was doing QQQ, and I have to be better at removing that. Once I have the account reestablished, I will probably jump back in there. But I got comfortable hitting 28% on trades, and that was a little bit high and aggressive. On day trades, really, you should be in like the 10 to 15%. Quick in and out, especially with a small account. You don't want to risk losing the account. This indicator that I'm using is the momentum indicator that I'm building using pivot points and a volume weighted moving average, as well as the momentum clouds. And I was probably a little too aggressive for using an indicator that I don't have much familiarity with, and that was where my mistakes were. So I'm getting better with this. I'm hoping to learn how to use this trade, and As I come up on a month of using it, I will. Let me see. When is my 1 month? My 30 days of use. Oh, not Intel. My account. Investing. 1 month. On December 19th was my first trade, essentially. So, looking like January 20th or so, 19th or so, because there was a couple days that we didn't have trading in, and I was still following it. But let's say we'll just use it all of January. End of January, I'll probably come up with a report, and maybe that last week of January, I'll start tweaking it and trying to get see what adjustments I need to make to figure out how to trade it better. So kind of my back testing and my story with that. Sorry for kind of a random, no directed video. Again, this is just kind of an update of what's been going on in my trading and my vision of what I got going on. Playing Intel. I really like Intel coming up this week. And as long as this Maduro thing doesn't create some chaos in the world, I think the AI sector and data centers are going to be exciting to start the year. That was the run up that we saw on Friday as a lot of positioning. If you look at a lot of the data centers, that I meant to show that before I exit out of Webull. I don't want to get stuck on it too much. But data centers had a lot of volume coming in. I think people are positioning to get into that area, get into that play. And I think Intel is going to benefit from this. So I like Intel. I like TXC. I'll probably be doing, I haven't done my Solana video yet. That's probably the next video I'll make on Solana and Avalanche and Cardano and some of those transaction based networks and such that we can use for layer 2s. Since we're talking layer 2s with TXC, might as well do some info on those ones as well. So here we go, on to the year, and we got to break above this little tester. Just use purple. Over 39.80, and we could run. Looking for 43 would be great. But I'll see you guys on Monday. For the stock trading account, I will probably go live for it. Not live. I'll post a video recapping it as I look to make a good trade, or at least see what Intel's doing and how the market is opening up for the first full week of 2026. Come Monday. See you guys then.